Hi there, my name is Linda Holt, and I'm a former professional photographer working today as an interior decorator and an iPhone photographer. And I'm here to share my top 5 tips for you to get better photos using your iPhone of your kitchen and bath projects. So let's get started. Tip number 1, you want to turn off all the room lights. The problem with leaving the room lights on is with all the reflective surfaces in kitchens and baths, you're going to get lots of glare, lots of hot spots. You're going to get reflections on your countertop or your stainless steel appliances such as your dishwasher or your refrigerator. But you're going to get a color shift when you leave the lights on in the room, especially the overhead lights. And you're going to get either a warm color shift or a cool color shift depending on the temperature of the bulbs that are in those overhead lights. So number 1, you want to turn off the overhead lights. So what do you want to use instead? You want to use natural light, but not just any natural light. You need to use even natural light. So that means you want to time the shoot at the time of the day when you don't have harsh, bright sunlight streaming through the windows, causing really bright streaks of light across your countertops or your cabinets or your tile. So ideally maybe earlier in the morning or later in the afternoon, but even natural light, and you'll get a beautiful result with minimal reflections and no color shift. Tip number 2, if you haven't already, you want to go and turn on your in-camera grid. To do this, you just need to go into Settings, click on Camera, and then turn on the grid. The grid is a series of vertical and horizontal lines that you can then use as a little guide to line up something in your photo that you know is perfectly vertical or horizontal, such as the edge of a cabinet or maybe the top of your countertop, and it will really help with keeping that perspective looking the best it can look. Number 3, as simplistic as tip number 3 sounds, it's be sure you're holding your camera correctly. Now, a lot of people that I see are holding their camera incorrectly. They're holding it up too close to their face, and then they're tipping it a little bit down. This causes the perspective to be off, and it's especially noticeable in kitchens and baths. So you always want to be sure that you're holding your phone perfectly straight and that it's on the same plane as your cabinets. So when you're shooting, the ideal level is probably around, lower chest or waist level, maybe around the same level as the top of your countertop. But between holding it perfectly straight and using your grid, you should have minimal perspective problems and get the best results possible. Tip number 4, you need to learn how to manually control both the focus and the exposure. Now, to do that with the iPhone, you simply hold your finger anywhere on the phone screen, and then you'll see a yellow box will appear, and to the right side of the box will be a little tiny sun icon. And then by sliding your finger either up the screen or down the screen, you can control the lightness or the darkness of the image. Now, this is really more of an art than a science, but get it so it looks about the best you think it looks. Then you can always go into an editing app after the fact if you need to lighten up one specific area or darken up one specific area. And it's a similar function when you want to lock the focus. You also hold your finger on the camera screen and the yellow box will appear, and if you keep your finger there for another second or so, the box will start to flash, and when it's done flashing, that means the focus is locked. So you want to touch the screen on the object that you want in focus. For example, let's say you're shooting a long shot to a kitchen, and at the far end of the wall in the kitchen is a statement range, and you really want that range to be really sharp focus. So you would hold your finger on the range, the box would appear, flash, and then it will lock. And that now you'll know that even if you move the phone in or out an inch or so, that range will always be in focus. And it's the same principle if you want something in the front of the photo, really sharp, maybe a certain vignette, and you don't care so much about the background. But touch the object or the thing that you want to lock in the focus, and then the camera won't be deciding where the focus should be. Tip number 5, shoot lots and lots of images. I've heard so many designers, myself included, regret after the fact that they didn't get enough shots of their projects. So we all know to shoot the money shot, get the big, overall look and feel of the kitchen or the bathroom. But think about all the detail shots, all the vignettes, all the close-ups, all the different things that go into making up that kitchen or bath that you may want a photograph of later. So shoot the hardware you used, shoot the faucets that you use, shoot the rain head, shoot the cabinets, shoot the vignettes, shoot everything you can think of. And one thing that I know a lot of people forget is to change the angle of the phone. So get those verticals in, but turn the phone and get in horizontals as well. You never know when you're going to need a horizontal shot. So shoot a lot. It doesn't cost any more if you shoot 2 shots or 200 shots. But down the line, you'll never regret taking too many photos of your projects. But you will regret if you don't take enough. So those are my 5 tips. Thank you for listening.